Genetically modified organisms, also known as GMOs. These are living organisms whose genetic material has been artificially manipulated in a laboratory through genetic engineering.
The pros to genetically modified foods. GMOs have the potential to enhance the taste of food. For example, Nature Biotechnology conducted a blind taste test and found that 60% of the 37 testers found that they preferred tomatoes that were genetically modified. It's been said that GMOs have the potential to restore some flavor and the aroma. GMOs can enhance the resistance of disease similar to getting a flu shot for humans. However, rather than getting a shot, the plant has a defense mechanism within its genes that act as a shield to protect it. Genetic modifications can add vitamins and minerals. They are also used to help prevent enzymatic browning in foods like bananas and apples. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, GMO foods help farmers produce more food with less land usage, as well as more nutritious food that is biofortified. An argument that comes up during the debate of GMOs is that people consider the process of genetic modification to be modern breeding. Plants in nature genetically modify themselves over time, so the question is asked of what's wrong with people doing it. For example, sweet potatoes were created from nature's transgenic breeding. According to the Genetic Liberty Project, people say that GMOs are made in a lab, and that's considered inaccurate. To insinuate that people are working in a lab to create genetic modifications of food we are consuming is misleading and could be part of the reason why GMOs are such a hot topic. The GLP also brought up that GMOs are a process, not the final product. The term GMO lacks specificity and is more political. The research behind genetically modified foods lacks scientific evidence to show that there are any harmful effects to people in the long run.
To counter that, there are also many disadvantages to GMOs. With GMOs, there is potential environmental damage when plants are grown or livestock is raised in places they are not usually supported. There is also no economic value to growing GMO foods because they take just as long to grow and produce normal crops. Genetically modified foods can cause allergies to develop or worsen, and individuals can have allergic reactions to livestock that eat GMO foods. Many animals are fed food with GMOs in them, which means that we end up eating them as well through eggs, meat, milk, honey, and other animal products. In one paper named The Debate on Labeling Genetically Modified Foods by Phil Damery, it found that studies on genetically modified foods that were performed by non-agricultural food organizations found serious risks with the consumption and production of genetically modified foods. Damery claimed that the organization in charge of reviewing these studies, the Food and Drug Administration, that they only review the conclusions instead of the entire studies performed. There also has been no evidence to show a benefit of GMOs to human health. During the process of making GMOs, they are often sprayed with herbicides or pesticides. In order for the food to be able to withstand the direct application of these herbicides and pesticides, they can become harmful to humans. 80% of GMOs around the world have been engineered for herbicide tolerance. An example is the use of Roundup, an herbicide, has increased significantly. It is considered to be a carcinogen to humans. If the crops are being sprayed with this, humans are consuming it. So the question arises, why would we want to put such a harmful herbicide on the food we will consume? Another negative side to using herbicides and pesticides is that there are now superweeds and superbugs emerging. In order to kill them, we will have to use more toxins, which in turn can be even more toxic to people and the environment. The Non-GMO Project made the point that although there are no long-term impacts found yet, once released into the environment, the organisms cannot be recalled. On people or the environment, we cannot do anything to change what was done. As a whole, the process of genetically modifying food is connected to health problems, environmental damage, and violation of farmers and consumers.
So should we label GMOs? In 64 countries around the world, GMOs are required to be labeled, including Japan, Australia, and the entire European Union. However, GMOs are not required to be labeled in the US and Canada. A study was done by ABC which showed 93% of people think GMOs should be labeled, yet little progress has been made to get them labeled in the US and Canada. So how do we know if it's GMO? You can look for products that contain the non-GMO verified label from the Non-GMO Project, or products that are USDA approved organic. We can also be aware of certain crops like soy, corn, canola, cotton, and sugar beet that are at a higher risk to be genetically modified. So let me ask you this, do you like bananas? Because your banana was most likely genetically modified. It is virtually impossible to grow bananas the conventional way. This is because there are too many diseases and fungi that can infect and kill the banana plant. Genetic modification may have saved the banana from extinction. This is a pretty big deal because bananas are a staple calorie resource for over 500 million inhabitants of tropical countries. So I leave you with this: the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of GMOs. A highly controversial way of putting food on the market. Should they be labeled? Should they be supported? Should we try to stop them from being used? It's up to you to decide now.